I guess Lindsay here with Storybook Family Farm. So yesterday I seen the physical therapist for my knee injury, and basically she's a bit concerned, which really bummed me out. Like I honestly was pretty upset yesterday, towards the evening because of the realization that, it wasn't just like that I could just tough it out more. I've had an injury similar to this several years ago with my ankle, where I kept being like, everybody kept telling me, just sort of suck it up and deal with it, suck it up and deal with it. Well, it turns out it was really a bad injury. And I'm thinking that the knee is kind of the same situation. I had really hoped that when I went in for the evaluation that she'd be like, oh yeah, here's the exercises, this just needs tightened up. Like, we'll just do these exercises, you'll be fine. No, she pretty much told me that we're only doing the PT to satisfy the needs of the insurance, so that way I can get an MRI done, because I really need to have an MRI, because she said that there's potentially a meniscus injury in there, and that she's concerned about the integrity of ligaments inside of my knee and stuff. And basically my knee is so hypermobile with twisting that she couldn't really get a for sure idea as to what is actually going on in there, because everything just, they rotate really bad. Like, my knees don't hyperextend super far like most people with EDS do. They just super hyper rotate. So like my leg spins around really far. Like, it's weird. But so she kind of gave me like one of those big duh sort of things, because I told her that the orthopedic physician assistant that I had seen originally was kind of crappy towards me and was like, well, you're not wearing a brace on it. And I was like, well, because I had this huge scrape on it, this massive abrasion. And she just looked at me like I was kind of like, if you guys knew the person, you'd understand it wasn't in like a terrible way, but kind of looked at me like I was a dummy and was like, there's not a scrape on it now, Lindsay. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I probably should be wearing a brace. So yeah, back to bracing. Forever ago, I actually had an ortho tell me, the orthopedic that did my ankle surgery had told me that my knees were pretty well not in great shape, and that I should be wearing knee braces like 24/7, like I have to with the ankle braces. But guys, that's really uncomfortable. That's really stinking hot. Like, it's just not comfortable. If you've ever wore a knee brace for any length of time, you know that when you sit down, you go to bend your knee, it pinches the skin at the back, and it's not comfortable. I had worn them pretty religiously for the first like year after being told that, and just after starting homesteading and doing other stuff, like I just, yeah, quit doing it. So I probably should go back to doing that, which really sucks because we're in a very hot season of life. Yeah, kind of sucky. But so on a more positive note, things that are also moving forward, and well, I don't necessarily know if they're moving forward or not. We actually looked at a couple properties over the weekend, which I mentioned to you guys in the last video that we were going to be looking at properties. So the one place that we looked at, it already had a house on it, and from the pictures on the internet, it looked like the house was going to be move-in ready. So we're like, okay, it's really at the top mark of our budget. We'd still have to get it cheaper, so in that way we could basically just do a house swap. We'd have nothing left over after selling our place and then buy this place. We got there and we looked at it, and I was like, oh my God, like this place needs a massive, massive amount of work, like huge holes in the drywall and things, which, patching holes is not that big of a deal, but it was literally like every room had a bunch of things that needed done. There was no trim anywhere. It was just, and the house was not, even though it was a newer house, it was not built properly. Like, it was built in like 1998, and the floors were so uneven and saggy and bouncy in places that you would have swore it was built in 1898. And I was like, no, like I'm not trying to fix somebody's, like, I'm assuming based on how it looked and felt and everything in there that it was probably someone's DIY attempt at building a house. So plus, it wasn't in that great of a location. It just, there was a bunch of reasons not to go for that. So we actually then looked at some raw land. And honestly, guys, we can't figure out a reason not to go for raw land, which honestly has been scaring the snot out of me, because Tracy is very much a think it out, move slow. And I'm very much a, let's just run headfirst and jump and something will catch us. Like, let's take all these big leaps of faith. Everything will be fine. Like, everything's just fine. And my wife is actually like, let's just do this. Like, it'll be fine. Like, we got this. And I'm like, I don't feel qualified to do this. Like, I feel scared shitless to make this move, because I'm like, I don't feel that I'm a grown-up enough. Like, that I'm just, I don't feel like I guess I'm qualified enough to tackle something that big, even though I've, did this whole project. Like, I'm like, oh God, I'm going to screw things up. I'm going to mess things up with the location and putting things in a certain place. And I think part of that fear comes from the fact of that with the property we have now, we've had to move stuff so many times around that I'm scared that if I have to determine where a house is going to go, or where a barn's going to go, or something of the sort like that, that I'm going to pick a bad location and then be stuck with that, and then be constantly kicking myself for making a mistake. And I think that's honestly what scares me the most. So, I mean, if we do this route and stuff, what we would have to do is the game plan for moving forward, no matter what we do, would be for us to get a home equity line of credit, which Tracy's working on that. That's in her wheelhouse. I don't do well with filling out applications and reading forms and following instructions. I do very well of just flying by the seat of my pants, winging everything, not thinking things all the way through, which is probably why I'm getting scared about the idea of raw land. But yeah, so basically the game plan moving forward, whether we go for that parcel of land or if we, try to wait for longer for something else to pop up, is basically that we need to get a home equity line of credit so then we can buy something with the equity we have in our home because we don't have a mortgage on it and stuff. And basically we bought the worst house in the county and renovated it and fixed it and made it nice. So we have a lot of equity in it and stuff. We would use that equity to then buy the next place, get the next place suitable to be living in, and then be able to put our place on the market and just move forward in that aspect of it while getting septic done and well done and just all these other things, like all the logistics of it are what's really scaring me. And I think it's because that's not in my wheelhouse of making phone calls, scheduling people, like this sort of executive function, like my brain does not do well with at all. I just really do well if I'm thrown into something. And last night Tracy was saying, I think we should just get it so then I can just throw you into it, because she's like, you're getting scared and it's not like you to get scared like this. And I'm like, I'm going to mess it up. Like, I'm going to make a big mistake. But she's like, I think that we should just do this. And that's scary. Fun story. So if my cousin's watching this, she's gonna get a good chuckle. But so back forever ago when I was in high school, my grandma actually paid for most of her grandkids to go to Mexico with her. So we did this one thing, and we did snorkeling and all this stuff. And when we went to this one, it's called a cenote, which is basically a cave that has collapsed. The roof has collapsed, and there was like a spring-fed pond in there, and it's crystal clear. So even when you're like 30 feet above it, it's basically spring water. So you can see the bottom. You could see pennies at the bottom. Like, it was just kind of scary. So there was this platform that you could jump off of, and they called it the Mayan sacrifice. And my cousin, she got up there. I love you, Tinky. She got up there and she got scared. She was too scared to jump and stuff. And I was like, it's okay. Like, just come to the edge. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. It'll be fine. Like, you don't have to worry. Like, I'm not going to push you. Like, no, it's fine. Just come to the edge and look. It's not scary. And then as soon as she got to the edge, I just went boom, and I shoved her. And so I asked Tracy last night, I said, are you telling me that you're going to pull a Mayan sacrifice on me? And she's like, I think I'm going to. I think that that's what we're going to do. So I'm kind of panicking. I'm kind of scared. And the one that's normally freaking out about everything is like so calm and level-headed. And I'm like, did we wake up in a weird alternate reality, a weird universe that like, I'm like, how did this happen? How did this flip-flop? Like, I'm like, I don't understand. But yeah, so yeah, I think that might be as crazy as it is. That might be the direction that we're going in. I've been really trying to meditate on it and pray on it and stuff for like more guidance and clarity. And it's just kind of funny because like I keep like getting pops of inspiration of build it like this, build it like that, do this, do that and stuff, which, most of our structures are actually movable coops, movable shelters and things of that nature. So like the male goats, I built their shelter small enough that we can just pick it up and move it. It'll be very heavy. I'll probably take some of the walls off of it and stuff to make it lighter and easier to move, but that's a movable structure. The duck and geese enclosure, that's built on a trailer frame, so that can be moved easily. The rabbits, obviously, I mean, they're, in rabbit tractors, very movable, very portable and stuff. So I mean, like, for those aspects, like, everything's still movable, everything's still portable. So I just basically would need to figure out where to put the other goats, I guess. Like, that's the big thing that's scaring me. Put the goats and put the house. So it's just kind of scary. But for those of you wondering what type of house we would do, we're actually looking into finding places like dealers and stuff like that sell like used double wides. I've shared with you guys in the past that a long time ago we actually did buy a brand new single wide and put it on land. So we've dabbled in the whole raw land thing, and I don't know why this is scaring me so bad. Unless if it's like one of those things of, like the other day before we looked at the land, we were watching reruns of The Amazing Race, I think it was, and there was like a sign somewhere that had said something about the saying of like, if your dreams don't scare you enough, it's because it's not big enough. And I'm like, this kind of scares me. Like, kind of scares me a little bit. But maybe that's the point, is to face my fears. So I don't know. I'll keep you guys posted on what we end up doing. I have still been looking online to see if anything different pops up, because I'm like, well, maybe I don't have to do the thing that scares me. Maybe I can just do something that I've already done before, like find another really crappy house and, you know, fix it all up and redo it and, you know, all that stuff. But then I think about ours and the process of it all. It was so heavy. I've just, the back and forth, man, it's brutal. So yeah, if you guys have any words of encouragement, I'd appreciate them. I really would. Until then, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we can't make an offer on anything until we have the home equity loan done. So I mean, it'll obviously be a no-go if, you know, the door slams shut on us and, you know, becomes off the market before we can actually make moves and stuff. So I mean, that's kind of nice that you know that there's that safety net, that you'll get blocked from things that aren't meant for you. But it also kind of scares me, because I'm like, I kind of feel in my belly that that's where we go. Because like, we walked the land and it was really cool. I really liked it, which I don't want to tell you guys too much about it, because of the fact that, like, I don't want to get anybody else's hopes up and get everybody else excited about this if it's not going to happen. But yeah, it's just, I'm pretty scared, but also pretty excited. So, I mean, either way, things are moving forward. Things are going in the right direction at this point. You know, it feels like doors are opening for us and things of that nature. So, I mean, it's kind of exciting to be able to keep you guys along on the journey with us and stuff, to, I don't know, see the growth. So anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.